Okay, Anthony, I ride a lot, but I feel like I'm always just missing that extra bit of efficiency. I see some riders gliding effortlessly, and I feel like I'm grinding just to keep up, even when my fitness level seems similar. Could my position or bike setup be secretly draining my speed? Or is there a technical mistake I'm overlooking that's making things harder than they need to be?
Here's my hot take. People have stopped focusing on pedaling. It seems like a lost art. We used to spend winter time, a large part of it was dictated by pedaling efficiency and trying to improve your pedaling efficiency. Some people would ride fixed gear bikes for half the winter. Other had like cranks that had a clutch built into them so they'd release if you didn't pedal a perfect pedal stroke. And other people would do pedaling techniques, both cadence drills, one-legged drills, all of it with the aim of to become a nicer pedaler. Since the power meter came in, I've really noticed a decline in that. Everyone is focused on power as a metric, and very few people talk in kind of abstract terms like they used to. Maybe that's why they don't, because it is an abstract term of what's a nice pedaler. But we all know someone that's a nice pedaler when we see them. They just undescribably can't put your finger on it, but look more effortless on the bike. They look a little bit cooler on the bike. They look like it's a bit easier on the bike. A lot of people that I'm seeing now, especially new converts into the sport, they're pedaling like they're stamping on grapes. Like they mash with one foot down and then the other tags along for the ride. It's a very quad dominated movement. It feels powerful. I get that, to be stamping with your quad, because it's a more powerful muscle than the hamstring to pull it up. But studies show that it is a total energy drain. You're wasting effort, you're tiring out faster, and you're leaving speed on the table. Efficient pedaling is about smoothness. Pros don't just push down harder, they spin at a steady 80 to 100 RPM using both legs in harmony. So it's like a really round pedal stroke. I was actually surprised to see a study about choppy pedal strokes spiking heart rate and burning through glycogen faster. So not only does it observationally look like a less efficient way to pedal, it actually is data-based a less efficient way to pedal. You're hammering through glycogen stores a lot faster. So how do you fix it? How do you get back to this beautiful cylindrical pedal stroke? Well, I'd say step one is realizing that you are mashing. Like having some self-awareness, getting a friend to ride beside you and just take a video and see, okay, I am a little bit of a masher. And then step two, it's that visualization of, we talked about last week, like you have dog dirt on the bottom of your shoe and you're trying to scrape it at the bottom of the pedal stroke, and really focusing on the pedal stroke being a push and pull at the same time, not just a push, 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 push. And it's going to feel deliberate. Like there's a great book, I think it's Dan Kelleher's the author, called Thinking Fast and Slow. And the idea is we have type 1 and type 2 decision-making pathways. So like when you start driving at the start, it's quite an automated process. You have to think about clutch, gear, clutch, gear, clutch, gear. But then you fast forward 5 years and people are talking on the phone, doing their makeup, listening to radio, and the clutch gear happens all automatic. That's because it's changed from a type 1 deliberate to type 2 automated pathway. So at the start, pedaling will feel really like that. It's going to be, oh my God, how am I going to enjoy a 5-hour ride where I'm thinking about pushing up, pulling down, scraping stuff off the bottom of my shoe? But that's not the reality for Pogačar. He doesn't have to go out and think about that. He's been doing it so long, it's changed from type 1 to a deliberate pedaling pathway. And it's worth the investment, especially like at this time of year where, you know, we're starting race season, but most people's priority events aren't till later in the summer.
Because that's going to have a knock-on effect on you. I mean, for me, I think the thing that has improved my pedaling efficiency is increasing my cadence, like you said, because I was, as you know, very much heavy down on the first part of the pedal stroke and, you know, basically gliding through the back end. But it also must have repercussions for other parts of your body when you're doing that stomping down. You're going to be getting more swaying of your hips, more shoulder movement. The bike is going to be moving more. You can just tell when someone is doing it wrong.
It's a total package, yeah.
Yeah, ask your friend and be like, I'm not going to get offended by this critique at all, but how's my stroke? Pedal stroke. How's my pedal stroke?
It's hard to get non-offensive feedback from someone. I remember you were giving me some stick about my hair before we started. I remember I used to go to a barber and I had a sign up, home haircuts repaired without comment. That's the sort of friend everyone needs.
Yeah, you really do. You have to, like, when you're learning a new skill, I'm cycling a couple of years and I'm still learning absolutely every day. You have to have an open kind of learning mindset when it comes to it, because you might go out on the bike and you're like, oh, I look great, I feel great, and you maybe potentially and probably you don't, and you can still upscale part of your bike handling or your smoothness on the bike, things like that.
I look at videos of me from year 1, year 2, year 5, year 7, and you can see that change all along. You're like, whoa, I thought I was cool back in year 1. I thought I was doing this well. I thought I was cornering well. I thought I was pedaling well. And then 2 years later, you're like, oh my God, I look like a totally different rider.
Yeah.
You're not doing it wrong. You're just at an early part. Yeah. Not you specifically, but everyone that's getting started. They're not doing it wrong. They're just at an early part of the journey.
I think as well, we always go back to watch the good lads, don't we? It's such a kind of simple mantra that we have here at Roadman. It's like, if you see somebody who looks good on the bike, for me, I think that you look like you were born on a bike, that it's part of your mechanics almost, you know what I mean? But then other people, you see them on a bike, it looks like it's almost alien, or they're afraid of it, or it just doesn't look right. Same with Sean McKenna, who I always mention. So if you find someone in your club that is a few steps ahead of you, and watch them, and don't be afraid to ask them as well to have a look at your technique too.
Yeah, okay. I think you could even expand on watch the good lads to go deconstruct the good lads and seeing how they don't just go, oh, they have a nice pedaling stroke. How did they get the nice pedaling stroke?
Yeah, I mean, are they doing exactly what you said? Are they doing drills? Have they upped their cadence? Yeah, I totally agree.
Hey everybody, let's take a quick break to talk about the bike I'll be riding this season, Reap. I've been lucky enough to ride all the top brands in the world over the past few years, but these Reap bikes, they're not the same, and I'll tell you why. Reap is the first company I've seen that isn't chasing sales targets and the mass market. They're chasing something very rare, perfection. Every bike they make, it's crafted in the UK factory, and it's not about slapping a Made in Britain label on a bike from a Chinese factory. It's about control. From the first sketch to the final build, they're hands-on, ensuring that every detail is dialed in. That's very rare in an outsourced world of mass production. What sets them apart is innovation. While others pump out the same old designs, Reap's pushing boundaries. They're not following trends, they're setting trends. Think precision and performance, like an F1 car for the road. Absolutely no compromises. And it shows, and you can feel it when you ride the bikes. These bikes are built for riders who demand the best, whether they're chasing podiums or just want a machine that feels like an extension of your body, a piece of art. It's not hype, it's substance. Ride a Reap for yourself, and you're riding something crafted with intent. So if you're serious about cycling, check them out. It's reapbikes.com. I absolutely love my one, and I couldn't recommend it highly enough. Back to the show.